Listen to me, because this isn't just another bad day at the office. This is a crisis of identity. If you are sitting there right now, scrolling through your feed, thinking that what we witnessed against Brentford was just a tactical blip or a bit of bad luck, then you are part of the problem. You are accepting mediocrity. This wasn't a tactical masterclass by Thomas Frank. It was a complete and utter psychological surrender by a group of players who look like they've forgotten what it means to wear the Newcastle United crest. Eddie Howe, a man usually measured, usually protective, and usually the ultimate diplomat in the face of media scrutiny, has finally seen the mask slip. In his post-match assessment, he used the word alarming. Let that sink in for a second. Alarming. This isn't just a manager being disappointed. This is a manager who is looking at his squad and seeing a void where the spirit used to be. The collapse we saw, conceding goals in clusters, failing to track runners, looking physically and mentally spent, is the hallmark of a team that has hit a brick wall. Where is the intensity? Where is the "we are the hunters" mentality that took us to the Champions League? It has evaporated, replaced by a fragile, glass-jawed temperament that shatters the moment things go south. We are talking about professional athletes, some of the highest paid individuals in the history of this club, turning their backs on the ball and looking at the floor while Brentford, with all due respect, a team we should be clinical against, ran rings around our midfield. It was embarrassing to watch. Bruno Guimaraes looks like he is carrying the weight of the entire city on his shoulders, and it is clearly crushing him. He's trying to do everything because nobody else is doing anything. Alexander Isak is starved of service because our transition play is currently slower than a week in jail. And the defense? It's a total shambles. Dan Burn, Fabian Schär, they are being left completely exposed because the system is failing and the players within that system are failing to communicate. But more than the system, the psychology is fundamentally broken. When Howe says it's alarming, he's talking about the lack of leadership on that pitch. Who is shouting? Who is demanding more when the second goal goes in? It's a silent graveyard out there. We've spent hundreds of millions. We've talked about the richest club in the world nonsense for 3 years now, and yet we are watching a psychological collapse that looks like something out of the darkest, most pathetic days of the Mike Ashley era. This is a regression of the highest order. The fans traveled down there, spent their hard-earned money, screamed their lungs out until their throats were raw, and what did they get in return? A team that folded like a cheap deck of cards the moment Brentford put them under any real pressure. It is unacceptable. The trust the process mantra is starting to wear incredibly thin when the process results in a team that looks mentally fragile and tactically lost. Eddie Howe needs to stop being the nice guy manager who protects them in every press conference. He needs to start dropping the big names who think they are untouchable just because of their price tag or their past performances. If you don't want to run, if you don't want to fight, if you don't want to track back when the chips are down, then quite frankly, get out of our club. We didn't fight through decades of mediocrity and neglect just to accept a new version of it wrapped in a shiny, Saudi-funded bow. The alarming nature of this defeat isn't just the 3 points dropped, it's the realization that this squad might have reached its absolute ceiling under the current mental framework. We need a total reset. We need a squad that reflects the grit and the fire of the Gallowgate, not a squad that retreats into a shell the moment an away crowd gets loud and the referee gives a soft foul. Eddie Howe is right to be concerned. He should be more than concerned. He should be absolutely furious. This is his team, his philosophy, and right now, it looks broken. If this isn't corrected immediately, if we don't see a reaction that involves blood, sweat, and genuine tears in the next fixture, then we have to start asking the uncomfortable questions that nobody wants to hear. Is the message not getting through anymore? Have the players stopped believing in the project? Whatever the case, that Brentford game was a disgrace to the shirt. It was a stain on the progress we've made since the takeover. No more excuses about injuries. No more excuses about the PSR constraints of the fixture schedule. This was a mental failure, a collective cowardice that cannot be tolerated at a club with Newcastle United's ambitions. Wake up, because the slide is real, the top six is drifting away, and the alarming collapse we saw today is only the beginning of a very dark chapter if we don't find our backbone again. This club belongs to the fans, and we demand better than a team that quits when the going gets tough. We want fighters, not statues. We want Newcastle United back.